Running away from her home and her family, Tulip Olsen, an aspiring 13-year-old game designer, stumbles upon a mysterious train in the middle of the woods, which seems to be heading just where she really wanted to go. But instead of her destination, she wakes up in the middle of a gigantic machine, an enormous train with a set of seemingly endless cars, each containing its own individual miniature world, going through a seemingly endless and dangerous wasteland. She tries to find her way back home and solve the mysteries of the train with only and the glowing number on her hand counting down to an unknown goal guiding her. So that's the story of Infinity Train, a Cartoon Network miniseries created by Owen Dennis, a former storyboard artist for regular show, released in 2019. When I got to the show, I didn't really know anything about it. It was shown to me by a close friend of mine, and to be honest, when I heard the title for the first time, I expected a quirky, corny sci-fi show about kids with laser guns fighting bug aliens on a flying train. I have no idea where that one came from, but that was very far away from truth. Even if the show pulled me in immediately, at first I just found it to be good, like really good, a very solid cartoon. But then something happened and I started to just fall in love with the story, characters, world, and the show's bizarre ideas. I think the show is at its strongest when it's story focused and when the drama at the end gets heavy, but even before that it's a very enjoyable watch of a journey through so many interesting, creative and bizarre worlds with very good writing and likable characters. What initially got me invested in the show was its bleak atmosphere and sense of mystery. I love its sense of scale, the feeling of danger, and its darkness, but the show doesn't really play the typically spooky, creepy darkness. Okay, this one too, but most of its darkness comes from a sense of bleakness. Also, the show is just plain filled with existential dread, but it also gives you the space to breathe and for the characters to just have fun, so it feels balanced. I think it's the best when it's story heavy and focused and in its bleakest moments, but I think it finds just the right balance so it doesn't get overbearing and the characters are allowed to have fun and there's space to breathe. Also, I think in its comical moments, the writing is really good, like it's really funny. I especially love its dark sense of humor related to one's sad personality. To be honest, I can't really believe how they got away with so many "we're going to die here" jokes. The characters just play off each other amazingly, and some of the jokes are hilarious even after multiple rewatches. Like, come on, in the show we have a talking cat teaching a water blob how to start his own pyramid scheme. They're just plain genius. Tulip is an amazing protagonist. You just feel the connection to her from the very beginning. Her flaws are openly acknowledged, but it really doesn't get into the way of her being a really enjoyable character. She's snarky, but way more proactive than most fantasy protagonists. She actually does a lot of stuff and has her own unique charm, quirks, and a lot of little details which really make her feel like a real person. Also, the show creators really understand how introverted people work, and she's able to progress and apply the lessons she learns without losing her initial charm. She's really memorable and consistent. She's not your typical girl, teenage, nerdy protagonist. There are so many little things that just make her an amazing and very memorable main character. I'm gonna be real, at first I was slightly annoyed by her complaining, but then it kind of grew on me and now I love her for it. Like, she really reacts to things realistically without it getting on your nerves or just blocking the entire flow of the show. Her robot companion 1-1 is just plain hilarious. I love the guy. The show uses him perfectly, and unlike many comedic sidekicks, he's actually really important to the story and has quite a lot of agency. And oh, I'm going to be real, his lines are just plain hilarious. Atticus, well, he's a cute dog. We all love cute dogs. But jokes aside, he's also a very fun character who also adds his own unique charm to the story, and I think the show creators just found the perfect balance of his serious personality with his cute dog traits. I like him. My personal favorite things about the show are its sense of continuity and structure. When you actually get to the final episodes, so much stuff just comes together and suddenly starts to make sense. You have so many, oh, so that was the point of this thing, or oh, so now I know what it means moments while you're watching it. The show really feels incredibly well planned. Every setup has a point. There are so many little details that come up later, which just give the show closed and very focused feeling. There are some things that can change your whole perspective on sometimes full episodes. Once you know more details, they can change a lot of stuff and how you were perceiving multiple events. The show is full of brilliant details that just come to you later. When they actually get to you, it's incredible. The whole show is just incredible in hindsight, and it's one of those series that gets the better and better the more you actually think about it. There are some realization which you may notice after rewatching it, and there are some things that just come to you days or even weeks after watching it. The unveiling of the mystery may be a little bit slow, like you're going to be asking yourself what is going on and why it is going on for a while, but when you actually get to it, it's so satisfying. I was especially impressed by the show's mature attitude towards trauma and emotional issues. It had pretty interesting takes and a unique outlook on issues such as escapism and even dissociation at certain points. I especially like its theme about how we sometimes remember things differently and how we can influence our own memories. I really appreciated its message that therapy takes time, that it's a sometimes tedious and difficult process, but it's a process worth partaking in, that it's a worthy goal and that there is hope for everyone, but sometimes you may just feel like you've lost all of your progress. I was especially impressed by its ending message, that one single realization isn't enough to heal someone from long-lasting trauma and a whole life of wrongdoing and unhealthy behavior, that progress just doesn't happen overnight and you actually need to put a lot of work into it, but it's a worthy goal, and no matter how many wrong things you have done, there is hope for everyone. I really feel like more shows should do that, because there are so many situations when character just has one important realization and then suddenly they're a good person and everything is fixed or almost fixed. Main character's personal drama was portrayed in a very unique and creative way, which perfectly utilized the bizarre setting to its full potential, but while at the same time it felt really realistic and relatable. You really knew that the creators put a lot of effort and personal experience into telling this story. Also, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm the person who normally hates slice of life family drama stories. Like, they annoy me very easily. But here, they worked extremely well. They didn't feel stacked on top of the fantasy setting, or sci-fi setting in that case. They actually felt perfectly intertwined with each other. Nothing felt just sticking out or unnecessary. One thing just built on top of the other, and they felt like natural parts of themselves. I think this show really benefited from its 10-minute format because that made every important segment that caused every important segment to be very sharp, focused, and straight to the point without wasting time. I was really surprised how aware this show was at certain points. No beating around the bush here. Even if sometimes the lessons aren't exactly subtle, all of them are earned. But for most of the time, the show deals pretty well with subtlety. I think the dolphin scene from the flashback is my favorite one when it comes to emotional stuff. Like, that was genius. And again, how did they get away from that? Watch the show, you'll know what I mean. And now it's the time for the thing that I like the most. So, I'm gonna be straightforward. I just love this show main villain. They have an incredible build-up and ties to the storylines of all three main characters. They're a creepy badass with an uneven, mysterious, and menacing presence that poses a genuine threat to the main characters. Like, whenever they appear, you know shit is serious. Also, there are so many weird and creative ideas tied to them that just close off the story perfectly. Even their design is weird and unlike anything I've ever seen before. It may be a little bit too early to say that, but I think I'm developing an appreciation for villains who appear kinda late into the story, but they just appear with a bang. But they actually have a very emotional storyline and one of the best hero-villain parallels I have ever seen. I would love to get into more details of why do I think they're so amazing, but they're basically a walking spoiler type of character that you can't really tell anything about without spoiling almost everything about the show. When I'm going to make my spoiler review, I'm probably going to spend a lot of time just ranting on why I think they're an amazing character. So, about the show visual style. The style of characters is easy on the eye, maybe not the most unique one I've ever seen, but it really fits the atmosphere and more grounded style of the show. Some people were complaining or were unhappy about the change from the pilot, but for me, I haven't seen the pilot before the show, so I wasn't too attached to the style. I think the pilot style had maybe a little bit more personality to it, but the recent one is way easier on the eye, and if they change it for technical reasons, I'm fine with that. Also, the background style is way better than in the pilot. The design of exterior of the train is one of the best things when it comes to visuals in the whole show. I love the show creature design. It's very sleek and unlike anything I've ever seen before, especially for the robotic creatures. They're also freaky and memorable. And my favorite thing, shot composition and perspective. Like, this show is really amazing, and there are so many moments that you just want to stare at how amazing everything just looks in the frame. Yeah, I'm a composition nerd. If things are placed nicely, I'm going to love that. And music. When it comes to purely music-wise, this show's theme song is my favorite cartoon theme ever, just music-wise speaking. It's a really incredible tune that I can't remember any other cartoon song that I just listened and listened to again and again. Overall, Chrome Canyon did an incredible job with the show. The whole score is really good. Yeah, then I'm listening to it on Spotify and I'm getting punched straight into my feelings anytime a theme which is associated with a difficult moment comes in. But the main theme is just incredible.